If you like to laugh, and who doesn't, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to My Funny House with the Powell brothers. Frank Powell is a real estate broker who was born and raised in San Diego, along with Frank's brother Mark, a real estate broker who also lives in San Diego. Each week, the Powell brothers bring in a special guest comedian to share hilarious real estate stories so you can learn what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership. So now, let's get into it. With My Funny House, here are your hosts, Frank and Mark Powell on The Answer San Diego.
Good morning, San Diego. Welcome to My Funny House with the Powell brothers. My name is Mark Powell. I'm a real estate broker here in San Diego, and I'd like to introduce my brother, Frank Powell, who's also a real estate broker.
Good morning. Thank you for tuning in on this beautiful Saturday morning. And before we go on, we also have to, there's an applause.
Ooh.
Look at that audience
I
out
didn't
there
get an
cheering.
applause. Why did you get an applause and I didn't
always
get
get an applause. You never do. That's just how it is.
Okay.
So out there, we have Maria Herman, our co-host and sister. Say hi, Maria.
Hello, everyone. And I suppose going down this domino thread, it is my turn to now introduce in the studio, back with you, the amazing, the hilarious James Schrader.
Hey, everybody.
The cleanest comedian.
Yeah.
With all that soap.
All that soap.
Mark, would you like to introduce our guest today?
I'm going to introduce our guest here, and we are very, very, very lucky to have with us in studio the famous Joe
Gaona, yes.
That's right.
Joe Gaona.
I love you jumped in to save him there.
He already knew.
Don't
he
slander
already
my
knew
last name.
Yes, he already.
I've had that mispronounced all my life, so
That's right. So, anyways,
And
I just go with the flow.
and believe me, I would have mispronounced it again. I tried. I practiced for 3 months, and I would have blown it. Okay, today in our show, we are going to have a very special show called The Challenges of Property Management. And the reason why we have Joe on the show is because Joe is a certified property manager.
Well, that means...
What is that? Yeah, what does that mean?
That's my next question. What exactly, Joe, does a certified property manager do?
What do you do?
Oh, well,
We stumped him on the first question.
actually my main title is portfolio manager, so I'm a little higher up than just a property manager.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
All right. We know where we are now.
I didn't know we were measuring business cards here.
Basically, it means I manage, the 9 properties rather than just the one.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So I like to think of it in four aspects, or 3 aspects actually. Just it's real simple. We want to keep occupancy high. We want to collect rent, and we want to and maintenance. We want to maintain the property. The tenants, making sure they're happy. But I try to keep it simple. Those 3 main things, and you're gonna have.
Well, I'm glad you brought up making tenants happy, because I have a question for you.
Can we clarify something first?
Absolutely.
You're doing that with properties that you don't actually own, right? You're providing this service for other people?
True.
Okay.
My portfolio, is owner managed, but we like to say professionally managed. So we're a company within companies.
Okay.
Doing.
So you guys
like
have your own properties, but you also provide these services for other people that also own properties.
Yes.
Got it.
So
What would be unprofessionally managed? What would that be?
That would be Mark and I saying, give me the money.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's,
pay up.
you see a Craigslist post and you get there and you rent a house from somebody or an apartment and then find out just how unprofessional that landlord is. So
Let me ask you a question here, because I was talking to some people about the show that we're going to do about property manager, and they said that they have a neighbor that has a house that's under a property management company that has a barking dog. So can they complain to you about a barking dog?
they can if it's so like let's say like within my property there's like one tenant who has a barking dog.
Yeah.
And then the other tenant complains, then we would have to basically send a notice to that other tenant saying, as long as it's reasonable, as long as it's really happening.
You find
What if it's your own dog? What if it's
Yeah. I could put a notice on my own door,
Yeah, just to keep up the optics.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying.
Because basically we wouldn't want them to know where I live, so
Right.
I'm going to ask you a question here, because when anybody's ever applying for a job, they ask for references. You guys chime in. Let me know what you think. But are you allowed to give a poor reference of a tenant that you believe may have not been that good of a tenant? A renter?
Yeah.
You do?
In fact,
Are you the one who gave me the bad reference?
Yeah.
And the HOA still hasn't forgotten.
Exactly. What do you think about that, Maria? What do you think about getting a bad reference? You've never gotten a bad reference.
I probably have gotten a bad reference. Call my mother. She's given me tons of bad references. I never get anything right. Do you know, I started paying rent when I was like 16. The minute I got a job, my mother made me pay rent.
In your own house?
In my own house.
Jeez.
I think that
Yes.
part of Joe's commitment is not only to handle the property, but aren't you really a people manager? Because you have to have people cooperate. You can't just throw down the laws and rules. How do you handle the people? Do you, like, for this, does this job like to have people that know how to deal with wisdom and how to get people to do things without using the laws?
Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
you kind of want to set up so like when a tenant moves in, we already tell them, okay, here's our policies for our property. This is what you can expect, and we try to set those rules and regulations kind of in place right from the beginning. And as long as you're consistent, it's good. It's when people are inconsistent that you start create all this chaos on your property.
And who handles your marketing skills? Do you do that as well? I mean, you have to, there's a vacant property. How do you get a tenant? How do you select the proper tenant to get into an occupied space?
That's probably the biggest, most important factor when you're renting to people is screening. You want to screen them, so you want to do a credit background check. You want to make sure that their income, you want to verify their income, you want to verify their residential history. So you call the other landlords that they've rented from and make sure that they're paying on time and that there wasn't any legal action that had to take place, right? So that's probably the biggest factor, is making sure that you screen properly, because once those tenants come in, you want to make sure you have the good tenants on your property.
Yeah, you also want to make sure that they're keeping up with their regular Instagram posts. If they don't do that, that's a
if they're not
sign.
consistent.
That's a sign right there.
What about the old you look in their car? Because that's I truly I remember hearing that about when you want to rent or something, go walk them out to their car and look at their car. If their car is destroyed and there's garbage bags in the back and there's
Did you do that?
If fair housing is listening, then no, I don't do that. But
how is that not fair? You want to hey, are you going to totally destroy this property that I'm about to let you into? Yeah. Oh, this is your car. You pay for this and you own it and you don't care. I think that's a reasonable.
Honestly, yeah, it's amazing. Because if someone jumped in my car, right, you would think I would have the right to be able to kick them out whenever I want to.
Well, I don't think you can get in, but
you
can look through windows.
Most people live in their car before they get a rental, so that may be
Well, how much you charge? How much is if I wanted to hire a property manager, let's pretend I inherited a house and I want to rent it, but I don't know the first thing about renting. So I go to hire you. What are you going to charge me?
It's usually we charge basically based on,
See, I started talking about money.
It sounds like
wait a minute.
So the funny thing is my whole experience has actually been with owners. So I've never had to do a management fee, but usually there would be some type of management fee that was based on your GPR, your gross potential rent, and so whatever you collect, you'd get a percentage.
What's a
of
percentage? What would you guess?
8 to 10% or what?
Yeah,
somewhere around there. Yeah, like 5 to 10%, depending on how amazing you are.
Oh, okay. All right.
What we're also looking at is people who buy investment properties, and they ask us, hey, should I manage my own property and save money, or should I hire a property manager? So if that question was sent to you, what would you say?
It really depends on the factors of what you have. So, once you get past 20 doors, I would say you now have the ability to hire a full-time property manager. If you're
one location, you mean 20 total properties? Or
no,
one location with
one
20
location,
doors?
20 doors. Yeah,
okay.
That's
so the guy just works for you. The property manager is your property manager.
Yeah,
for 20 houses.
For 20 doors.
20
yeah,
doors.
20 doors.
Jeez.
So
I'm going to count how
What if
many
you
doors.
just have
But I
a,
think-
what I was going to say, what if you just have a really big house with 20 doors?
Can you kick out my kids? Can you kick out my kids?
I've got like 10 doors in my house, I think, if you count the bathroom doors.
Okay, so let's go back to what are the actual duties of a property manager, Joe? I mean, I like the first one. You have to establish who is getting into your house, and that's what the biggest mistake people make, especially homeowners that buy an investment properties. They get an ad from Craigslist, they put it out there, they think they're going to save 10%, and then they get the wrong guy in there. He has a criminal history, a background of not paying, a very low FICO score, unemployed, maybe on drugs, and so forth. So that would be the most important thing. Do you agree?
definitely. You definitely want to screen. I mean, that's huge. So that's what we were talking about before. I think the other thing is a price factor is huge because, and this is something that the property manager should be doing is taking photos of the unit. You want to be showing off the unit. And as you guys are in real estate, so you guys know, sometimes you see these pictures online and you're like, wow, this thing is beautiful. And you get there and
It's the wrong house.
yeah.
Or vice versa. You see some photos for listings and you're like, you guys couldn't have tidied up at all.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
couldn't have made the bed.
Can you
or
get
put
the cat off the bed? And stuff
Yes.
like that?
That's the least of it. You see like laundries everywhere.
Yeah.
You see some room that's
like-
just like got piles of, and you're
did
like,
you-
wanted
did
to
you even
sell
try?
this? Yeah.
Yes.
Like what?
Wait, James, have you been putting pictures of your apartment up there again?
Listen, my apartment is spotless because all 260 square feet are sweepable. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
You don't need a
it's
property
fine.
manager.
No, mm-mm. I have a 4-year-old.
That's
It all
one
gets swept
door.
up. We're good.
So when you when you
One
collect
door.
when you collect rent, do you actually go to the house and like knock on the door, and if they're not paying,
what is this?
and go,
1985?
well, no, I mean, like
Who's
Yeah,
not?
I
who's
have
not
a big,
paying
I
this?
have a big Louisville
no, that's
bat,
weird. Like, do you
knock on the
like
door.
shake them down and go, hey, what's going on here?
I actually make fun of the managers. I call them the Sheriff of Nottingham sometimes. Because you
Yeah.
feel like that sometimes.
Do they? But they go to the doors, don't they? They knock on people's doors.
So I mean, we're a bigger we're a bigger company to where we don't have to do those kinds of things. We just we call them, send them an email.
On day 3, right?
Yeah.
Not on day 1. Not on the 1st. You got till the 5th.
Yeah. So unfortunately, yeah.
Is that how it works? How does it?
So rent is due on the 1st.
Okay.
It's late on the 5th. That's what
Oh,
we say. It's due on the 1st. It's late.
And
on
then
the
do they have to pay a late fee if they don't pay their rent on time?
Yeah, they have to pay a late fee. If they get so many late fees, at least for us, then we start to also, put different requirements in there. Like they have to make sure that, it's certified checks coming into us.
Wow.
And when it's
Can you
time,
imagine that?
Yeah. Well,
yeah. And when it's time
Fair,
to,
fair enough.
if it's the 5th,
Yeah.
we need to show me the money.
I
need that money,
we give
son.
you 5 days. It's coming up every month. I mean,
Every month. It's the 1st every single month.
Hey, Joe, this show is about what can go right and what can go wrong in real estate. Give us something that would go wrong in property manager that you have faced, which really was a challenge to you to try to figure out how to deal with it.
Oh, I should have talked to my legal department before talking
Well,
about these
we
things.
don't have to have names. We just just
Well,
something.
what can really go wrong was last year. I mean, that was just
Oh, the COVID.
horrendous. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, a pandemic can go wrong.
So
yeah.
honestly, it wasn't COVID itself that was the problem. It was the eviction moratorium that came in, right?
Wow.
So what happened is they said, with this eviction moratorium, if anyone submits to us some type of declaration of financial hardship due to COVID, it could be anything,
Right.
anything, then we can't kick them out no matter what, even if they're not paying rent.
Is that still going on?
So that eviction moratorium for the most part ended
October
for the
1st.
state of California on October 1st.
Right.
Yeah. So that just ended, but we're still dealing with all the repercussions. So we have,
Because technically that rent is still owed. Like if somebody didn't pay for the whole time, it's
Well,
technically still,
it's still owed,
right?
but it becomes, and this is what's crazy, is that it actually becomes, what is it called? It becomes debt now. So instead of it being rent that we can actually go and collect in court, we actually have to sue them. So, and that's
Which
unique.
isn't
That's
helpful.
interesting
What do
because
you,
it wasn't
you
like that
sue
before.
the renter?
So we have to actually sue the renter. So I could actually have a tenant in my property right now that I'm suing for damages from this rent, this COVID era rent, and they're still my tenant right now.
You hear a lot. You hear from the government a lot of stimulus checks are out, subsidies from grants. Did you receive any of those? And would those make up for the rents that were due?
Yeah,
So-
did that work in the real estate? Was there actually money set aside for...
So there actually was. I mean, you guys want to get blown away right now?
Yeah.
Like, this is what's crazy. They're actually giving So for anyone who qualifies, they're giving 100% of rent due to the landlord. The state is paying this for anyone who qualifies.
Okay,
How do you
the big thing is qualify. You have to
Why have I been paying my rent?
Exactly.
because you have a job. I think it's for people that make less than whatever 30 grand a year.
It's like less than the median income, which is I think 80% of the median income. If you're under that, plus you can show some type of COVID hardship.
We don't know what that means, the median income.
Yeah.
Give us some numbers.
We're like simple people
yeah, like
here.
come on. Do you have a number? Is it less than 20 grand a year? 30 grand a year?
Simple people.
Yes, I am at least.
So
I'm
let's
just a
say
simple
it's,
man
I mean, I
trying to
don't
make
know
my
what
way
the
in the
actual number
universe.
is because I'm not the one who has to do that. But I would think it'd be somewhere around like $100,000. You could probably look it up.
That's some California
Yeah.
stuff right
So let's say it's $100,000 is the median income, right? This is like what the average household should be making with two people.
Yeah.
And so anything 80% less than that would $80,000. If you make less than $80,000, then you
A year?
California, hold on.
a year.
California
Then you
median
qualify.
income in 2019 was $31,000.
Oh wow, that's
There you go.
low.
That's why I said 30
Yeah.
grand.
Household 75. So that was personal household being
So-
75.
This is what the government always does. They act like they're going to cover for the people. They're not working. They're getting stimulus checks. And when it comes to rent, you don't qualify. Because you make more
Well, how
money.
can you
even
rent to somebody who makes $30,000 a year? I mean, wouldn't
Well,
that screen
that's-
them out right there?
No.
So yeah, it's basically now like due to COVID. So like, maybe they were making so much money, but
Right.
then because of COVID, now they lost their job
Yeah.
or,
Okay, I got you.
yeah. And so
They make $30,000 because they lost their job.
Exactly.
They
Or
went
they
in.
make nothing. I mean, that's a lot of people got totally shut down. There were a lot of bartenders
Yeah.
that were making great
Right.
money
Yeah,
that
they
it
made-
all just shut down
That's horrible.
and it went
Yeah.
to zero.
Yeah.
now our portfolio is luxury apartments. That's what we mainly deal with.
Wow.
And so, so we actually screen pretty well, and we make sure that people have at least 2.5 to 3 times the income of whatever they're paying in rent. And so, so for the most part, we did pretty good. But there was about, like one of my properties had 172 doors, 172 units, and we had about, 10 to 12 tenants there. It was in the San Jose area.
What's the highest rent that somebody in your portfolio pays a month?
Right now, we have a 4-bedroom, which is unique.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, and we were.
Oh, good God.
Oh God. Wait, can we guess? Let's guess.
All I'm saying is you could buy
Okay.
multiple houses anywhere else.
$12,000.
12. Okay, 12. I think more than that. I think more like 20.
No, I'd say 10,500.
So I say 20.
So actually, a little bit less. So we've been renting to this person since 2018, and we've been slowly, incrementing, but we're about like $6,500 a month.
Oh,
No, that's nothing in
that's
San Diego.
Jeez.
We thought it was going to be more. Okay, let me ask you something, Joe, with a couple minutes left.
okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's people out there that would like to apply to be a property manager. In every building, they kind of offer someone in there to be a property manager.
Mm-hmm.
What makes a good property manager? If you're sitting here
Yeah.
to interview and I go, I think I made a,
Well,
I would make a good property manager.
I'm the guy who has to hire and fire everyone.
There you
So
go.
yeah,
Okay.
the 4 main things I look for is
Listen up,
Yeah,
people.
Okay, I'm
4
listening.
areas is sales because
Okay.
you're going to be selling.
Okay.
Customer service. 'cause
Okay.
You're going to have to take care of all the tenants. Project management.
Okay.
Because we're relying on you for all the maintenance and everything like that. And then also just financial, just having an understanding of income and expense and risk versus benefit when we're dealing with different situations going on the
Should you
property.
have a real estate license if you're doing that also?
It's helpful because at least I know you kind of understand the industry a little bit better.
Okay.
But I think being certified, you can be certified. You get it through the California Apartment Association or a National Apartment Association.
So there's a certification to be a property manager.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need it. In fact, I think half my managers don't have it, and they're phenomenal.
Right.
And the other half that do, they're also great too. But it's more about
It seems like
I have someone. I've got someone I'm going to send in your direction. They'd be perfect.
Who?
Right? Oh, you.
someone
my
apply
mother.
for a job. My mother.
She'd be so great. Oh my God. Yes.
She got you to
Yes.
pay rent at 16. You should hire her.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think you're talking about sales, customer service, financing. I think the most difficult one I would think is the actual project management. That seems like
so. I mean, it depends on the personality, but I mean, like for me, I absolutely love that, right? But that's
Oh.
what I do, right? So
Right.
I manage. So, But yeah, I mean, project management, you have to make sure you're looking at the risk versus benefit for different things. You have a budget that you have to follow, right? And you can't go out of that. So yeah, since sometimes the water main busts open and you have to take care of an emergency,
But that's the kind of thing where if you have your systems in place, like if there's a plumbing emergency, we got our plumbing guy. If there was an AC thing, we got an HVAC guy. If we got, the drywall thing, we got a handyman.
You have your preferred vendors list, right? So you have all your, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, right? So you have all these guys ready to go. Even talk to them in advance, make a good relationships with them and say, hey, if there is an emergency on a Sunday, are you willing to come in and get it taken care of?
What about inspections? Do you ever have to go in a house? Because if you don't go in the house, like James was saying, maybe
you don't know what it is.
If the car's messed up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, what's the house going to look like?
Yeah.
Meth lab.
Yeah.
So annual inspections, we should be doing.
Annual.
We should be doing at least annual inspections going in there. Last year we couldn't, because of the eviction moratorium. They said, we're not allowed to go in there. But yeah, I mean, annual inspections, you go in there and you see what's going on, because some tenants, they're going to call you for every single thing.
Yeah.
Other tenants are going to call you. I mean, one time we went to look into a unit, and I mean, the whole his side wall was just busting open and water's dripping out, and he has plastic bags everywhere. And we said, why didn't you call us?
Yeah.
And like, he said, I didn't want to,
I was waiting for my annual inspection.
I don't want to bother you.
Okay, well, listen up. We're closing the show pretty soon, so I just want to tell my viewers out there, if you're thinking about buying a house for an investment property or something that you want to invest in, make sure you really consider getting a property manager, because when you get that phone call at 2 a.m, the toilet's clogged or the garbage disposal not working or somebody got shocked or, we need an electrician out here, really consider a property management, because at the end of the day, you will save money even though you're spending it up front. And with that in mind, Maria Herman, how do we get in touch with you? Because this show just went so fast, we have to speed it up, and we like to get to know where we can find you in all your comedy acts.
Well, just look for me at comedyheights.com and know that right now I've been inspired. I'm going to contact my property manager at my rental apartment right now. There's nothing wrong, but he's really good looking.
Hey, so's Joe. You should see this guy. He looks like a model over here. Maybe you should just contact Joe.
It's the beard.
No other reason. It's the beard. Okay, and then we got James. James, we all know how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, as always, jamesschrader.com, and wherever you are, go see a comedy show in your town.
There you go. And
how to get a hold of us,
how
right?
how to get a hold of Joe?
Oh,
yeah.
Joe.
I mean, Pacifica Enterprises is my company. And quick plug, Blue Water up in Carlsbad. Check out that property. Really awesome, unique property. I'd love for anyone
get out there and check out that property. Yes. Mark, how do you get in touch with Powell Brothers?
You can call us at 858-922-7725 or hit us up online at powellbrothersrealty.com.
Check us out on YouTube, My Funny House with the Powell Brothers. And once again, loyal fans, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, 858-922-7725. Anything real estate related, and we like to talk to agents as well.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks so much for joining us today for My Funny House with the Powell Brothers, right here on The Answer San Diego. Join us next week as the Powell Brothers bring you more funny stories of what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership, and bring the laughs to you with yet another hilarious guest comedian. To find out more about the Powell Brothers, be sure to check out their website at powellbrothersrealty.com, or you can visit myfunnyhouse.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next week for My Funny House on The Answer San Diego.